What are you most passionate about? What things in your life that you do or watch or whatever it might be just jazz you up the most and that make you kind of so excited to be a part of them and excited to be alive? Those things that you are most passionate about, consider how you approach those concepts, those elements of your life, versus the things that you kind of have to do that need to get done. Because when you look at the difference between the two, it's really obvious that the things that you have great passion for, you're going to invest so much more of yourself in, and you're going to give so much more of yourself to. Now, you probably know where I'm going with this. Those of you are coaches who, it's the largest audience I speak to, but teachers, parents, friends, no matter what you do and whatever job you're at, okay, consider how passionate are you about not only the thing that you're thinking of right now, but the various elements that make that thing what it is. So, if I were going to be talking about, I'm a basketball coach. So, if I were going to be talking about coaching basketball, I am passionate about it, and I'm passionate about trying to provide kids a positive, excuse me, a positive experience and a lot of fun. But I'm not always passionate about every aspect of it. I don't like necessarily, I'm not that passionate about typing up the itineraries for road games. I'm not as passionate about certain elements of practice at times, quite honestly. I love practice. It's my absolute favorite time with the kids. But there are some drills where I'm thinking, okay, boy, we have to do this. And then this was especially true in my years as a varsity coach. There were just certain elements that I wasn't as into. But for the most part, yeah, I have great passion for most elements of coaching basketball. But there are other elements in my life where I'm not as passionate about them, but I have to do them in order to make a living or whatever it might be. We need to find a way to create the passion and have passion for those things that are necessary in our lives that maybe we're not as into. How do you do that? That's not easy. But you find the spark, you find the elements in it that make you go, gosh, I'm so glad I get to do this, as opposed to, I got to do this. And again, that's not easy, but it is a critical component to becoming as successful as we can become, right, within, again, whatever that is. Whereas those of us who coach, most of what we do in coaching, we're passionate about. Most of what we do there, we think of, I get to do this. But think about this, coach. I'm a basketball coach, as I said, but I've also coached soccer. I've also coached football. I considered myself a soccer coach as well. And for parts of my career, I considered myself a football coach. And you can see me hemming and hawing on that one because I didn't have the same level of passion for it. I love football. I love watching football. I love talking football with others. It's not that at all. But I coached football because the very first school I was hired at, straight out of college, where I was going to teach English and coach basketball, they asked me to coach football as well. They needed a football coach, for their freshman team. Okay, so I did it. But you can even hear it right there. Okay, so I did it. As opposed to, I got to coach football. And the more I coached it, I enjoyed my time with my fellow coaches, loved that. I loved the kids I got to coach. Yeah, but I didn't have that same burning passion for football that I did for basketball. When I moved to I stopped coaching football after 4 years, and that was it. I was just going to focus on basketball. And the athletic director asked me if I would then coach soccer. And I said, I don't know soccer. I'm sure you can get somebody else. It was in the spring. Soccer didn't start until the fall. Well, sure enough, they didn't get anybody else, and they asked me in the fall, so I did it. And quite honestly, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I fell in love with soccer. I loved coaching those kids. Loved the staff I was on, and I saw a lot of parallels between soccer and basketball. Some of our best basketball players were our best soccer players, and vice versa. In fact, I got so into that concept that when my son was born and then started playing sports, talked to him about both. He became a soccer slash basketball player, maybe a basketball slash soccer player. And I'm saying it that way because his first passion was also basketball. Soccer was his second one. And yet he just finished his fourth year of college soccer. He's graduating here in the spring. And so he stayed with that sport because it also became a passion for him. When I moved to Montana, I started coaching football again because that's what they needed when I was going to coach basketball, teach English, coach basketball, and they needed somebody to coach football as well at the school I was at. So I was like, okay, I've done that for 4 years. And so I started coaching football again. I did it for a few years and then again stepped out of it. I just didn't have the passion for the coaching of it. And I realized I'm not being my best because I don't have that same passion for it. I'm not giving my kids my best. I loved the kids. I had a blast coaching football. I love the staff. Some of my best friends still to this day out here in Montana are people from that staff. But I didn't have that same level of passion. And so here's the thing, coaches. Here's the thing, people. Either figure out how to get the passion for this thing or scale yourself back and find something else, because especially again, those of us in coaching, the kids deserve that from us. Those kids deserved somebody to come into that program who had more passion than I did, to be able to fill them up, to be able to give everything they had to them. As opposed to me, I was giving everything I wanted to give to them, absolutely. But it wasn't everything I had. Whereas with basketball, it's always been everything I have. Okay. It's always been, I absolutely love doing this. And I'm 40 plus years into doing coaching basketball and still find that same love of it. Do I have the same energy level as I did 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago? No, of course not. Right. But I still have that passion. And I'd even say the same passion, maybe even more of it, because my passion has been kind of redirected in other ways based on all of my years of experience. And I find that I can use the passion better in a better way because of the experience. Instead of having my passion all go to, and that kind of passion, I'm so upset about whatever things, I usually can guide that passion to, okay, this is a great teaching moment. Here I can help this kid or these kids learn something more from this moment. So whatever it might be, okay, I still have that passion, and I hope you will find that as well. Find it, then keep it, and make sure you instill it and give it away to your kids. So on Monday, I did a couple quotes from my book, Senior Salute, about passion. I'm going to read a couple of them right now. I know I'm getting a little longer here, but I think these are great, and these kind of can be a springboard for you as we finish this off. By the way, Senior Salute is on a special right now for you. It's the gift book for you to give to your senior athletes on your end of season banquet. So I know some of those are coming up for you. So I've had quite a few orders already. Make sure you check it out at slamdunksuccess.com. But here's a couple quotes. Purpose is the reason you journey. Passion is the fire that lights the way. That's by an anonymous source, but what a great quote. Here's one that I've always liked by Hebel. I don't remember who Hebel was. Nothing great in the world was ever accomplished without passion. Not nothing was ever accomplished, but nothing great. There has to be some passion that started it. And let me end with Nelson Mandela. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Live it with passion. Give what you have to all of your endeavors. And I think you will find so much more joy coming back to you. But more importantly for us as coaches, teachers, your kids will find you giving them so much joy as well. We'll talk to you again next time.